Today is the day that masks died. Now, I think honestly, when people look back at today, it'll be seen as the moment in the story of the pandemic that everything changed, that the shift to normal became real. And I'm going to explain to you why, and I'm going to show you that the doomers are not taking this well. They are pissed off at the CDC. Wait until you see their reactions. We've got some people ripping off masks, celebrating, and others saying they're going to wear them for the rest of their lives. But before we get into any of that, let's go to the President of the United States of America speaking today. And this guy loves him some masks. This guy loves wearing a mask. He wore a mask outside whilst vaccinated to say that the CDC had just told him that people no longer had to wear masks outside whilst vaccinated. That's kind of how he's been. So this is a big one for Joe to drop. And he's excited. You can hear it in his voice.
No, I want to be clear about what the CDC is saying and what the CDC is not saying. The CDC is saying they have concluded that fully vaccinated people are at a very, very low risk of getting COVID-19.
Okay.
Therefore, if you've been fully vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a mask. Let me repeat. If you are fully vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a mask.
This is the President of the United States, mask wearer in chief, telling us if you're fully vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a mask. This is probably being done to encourage people to get the vaccine. But it's really, none of that matters. It's about the larger social shift that's going to happen. And I know what you're saying, Sean, I don't listen to this crap anyways. I don't buy into this. I haven't worn any mask, yada, yada, yada. What matters is this. The states listen to the CDC and they listen to the guidelines and the guidance that they release. And the businesses in those states operate under the state rules and under the CDC guidance and guidelines. And if that is changing, well, everything is going to change very quickly. So long social distancing, so long mask wearing. It's only going to be a matter of weeks from right now, mark my words, when most major businesses rip down all those signs and it doesn't say mandatory masks any longer. It's optional. If you'd like to wear one, go ahead. Wear it for the rest of your life if you want to. Even over at the CDC, the head of the CDC, who was screaming that she was frightened just a couple of months ago, she's come around, and here she is.
Considering all of these factors, the data on vaccine effectiveness, the science on their ability to protect against circulating variants, and our growing understanding of the low risk of transmission to others, combined with universal access to vaccines for those 12 and older, today, CDC is updating our guidance for fully vaccinated people. Anyone who is fully vaccinated can participate in indoor and outdoor activities, large or small, without wearing a mask or physical distancing.
Oh, there you go. You heard it from the CDC. Nobody can take me out of this mood, man. I am Oh, boy. Let's see what Fauci says. He's always bringing the party down with this stuff.
We've got to make that transition. If you are vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask outside. It would be a very unusual situation if you were going into a completely crowded situation where people are essentially falling all over each other.
This guy.
Then you wear a mask.
He can't help himself. He's like, fully vaccinated people, you don't need to wear a mask out there. All right. Only in the most insane of circumstances. Let's say you're at an orgy and there's 8,000 people there and you don't really know if you got the vaccine or if it was something else that was stabbed into your arm about 4 months previously. And that condition, he can't let himself go. He can't let it go. And the doomers keep on dooming. Here's Kyle Griffin. He is the producer, the senior producer for MSNBC's Last Word. That's Lawrence O'Donnell, I believe. And they say NBC confirms the CDC will announce that Americans who are fully vaccinated against COVID no longer need to wear masks or physically distance indoors or outdoors in almost all circumstances. This is logical. This has made sense for weeks and weeks. The CDC was simply the last to come around to this, and it's why a lot of people have kind of distanced themselves from making their personal decisions based on the CDC rulings. But the doomers are super doomy. I don't want to be mistaken as a Republican or Trumpy, so I'll keep wearing mine inside and outside, says this guy. I wouldn't trust strangers who claim to be vaccinated. A colleague contracted COVID-19 at a concert recently in Florida that was outside with no mask required. She said it was really crowded, but her friend sharing the hotel suite didn't get COVID, tested negative. Oh, my God. Your particular circumstances do not have any bearing on what people overall should do. I'm still going to see how this summer shakes out. I plan to mask up for at least another year or until after I get a booster. Why not just do it forever? Keep going. Okay, but how do I know you're vaxxed? I'm high risk. Everyone can stay the hell away from me. Rebecca doesn't understand how vaccines work, apparently. If you have the vaccine, it doesn't matter if other people don't have the vaccine. Personal responsibility is the phrase of the day, and that's why everything has changed here. This person says, we'll be wearing my mask, skipping the buffets, and avoiding cruises forever. Just for the rest of their lives. It makes sense, doomer logic. I know too many people who are not vaccinated. I'll be wearing my mask for a while, thank you. This feels like a cave to the crybabies. It's bizarre the CDC was being conservative, then got beat up in the media, and now this. Most people, or my trust in people is broken, so I'll continue to wear a mask indoors and or around strangers. Now we go to the floor of the Senate, where Senator Joni Ernst and Senator Collins, Susan Collins, both take off their mask as they hear the CDC guidance change in celebration of what's happening. Here you can see them.
Aye.
They're
Ms.
right
Ernst,
here in
Ms.
this area.
Ernst, aye.
Coming down here.
Mr. McConnell, aye.
Right down the steps. And when they do, you'll see
Mr.
that other people
Schumer,
are like,
Mr.
oh.
Schumer, aye.
There she is. Her mask is in her hand, waving it around.
Mr. Booker,
Susan
Mr.
Collins.
Booker, aye.
And there he is. He's got no mask on. He's got it in his hand.
Ms. Hirono, aye. Ms. Collins.
Everybody else is going to take a little while to get on board with this, but today's the big, big day of change. Ahead of President Joe Biden's speech on the new guidelines, the White House celebrated the new guidelines listing mask requirements for people fully vaccinated. Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, and a group of senators took their masks off during an Oval Office meeting as the CDC announced that people who are fully vaccinated no longer need to wear masks or physically distance themselves. First Lady Jill Biden, Joe Manchin, and actress Jennifer Garner took their masks off during a trip to a high school in West Virginia following the statement. And Jill Biden and Jennifer Garner were like, we feel naked with our face masks off. Here is the White House saying, big news from the CDC. If you're fully vaccinated, you do not need to wear a mask indoors or outdoors in most settings. It continues on. Here's a doctor who's shocked, I tell you, shocked by all of this.
Well,
How can they do it?
That part of what she had to say, because I do think that we need to send the very clear message that vaccination is your ticket back to pre-pandemic life. But frankly, I was shocked by this announcement. I think they went from one extreme to another.
Oh.
And the major step that's missing here is, how do we know that people are telling the truth? We talked in the last hour about the honor code. I mean, if you're going to the grocery store, maybe you're fully vaccinated, you take off your mask at the grocery store. But who's going to be checking to see if others are also vaccinated?
Yeah, show us your cards. She's a doctor, man. That's a doctor. This is why we've seen the death of experts. That is a doctor saying that. If you are vaccinated, it doesn't matter if the other people around you aren't vaccinated. This is very, very simple, or at least it should be. Wrapping things up now before we go to your thoughts. Here's what the CDC says. Remember this before? There was like a couple that were in the green for fully vaccinated people, and then the rest of them are all red. Fully vaccinated people, bam! It's like a green stripe, baby. Wide open. And they're doing this again to try to probably encourage more people, but it doesn't matter. The wheels are now in motion, and you're going to start seeing changes at all the places you go to if you haven't already. I get it. Some of you live a different life, but I'm talking about in general for most of you. Today is a big day. A huge shift has happened. Finally, the CDC has admitted that this is something that should really change the way we're handling everything with the pandemic. Other than if you are on buses, trains, or other forms of public transportation, in healthcare settings, correctional facilities, and homeless shelters, the world changes today. Well, more specifically, the United States changes today. What do you think about that? And do you think it was too late for the CDC to get any credibility back? What are your thoughts on what it's going to look like in the next couple of weeks? And are you still going to wear a mask? Maybe some of you are out there and you're like, I feel safer wearing it. That's fine. In my opinion, you do you, I'm going to do me. I've been following the rules as they were set up during this whole procedure. But once the rules change, I have no desire to want to wear a mask. And I bet a lot of you are probably thinking along those lines. But tell me how you're feeling. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that share button and share with other people how the world has changed today. And if you are new around here, hit that follow button over on Facebook.com/TheNewsJunkie. Over on YouTube, hit subscribe. I look forward to seeing your comments, and we'll talk to you again real soon.